And Friday the 3rd, we're back to lower body, and we only have one part. 5, 6, or 7 rounds, that is your choice. And we have weighted lateral lunges per leg, straight leg fire hydrants per leg, curtsy, squat, curtsy, and bridge to crunch, okay? So weighted laterals. And again, this can be done with no weight at all. Straight leg fire hydrants. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then the same on the other side. Curtsy, squat, curtsy. This can be done with or without weight. Curtsy, squat, curtsy, 1. Curtsy, squat, curtsy, 2. And then last we have our bridge to our crunch. So we have bridge, crunch, bridge, crunch, bridge, crunch. Okay, so first we have our weighted lateral. So again, you don't have to use a weight. So I'm going to show you what the lateral looks like by itself. So we talked about our forward and our reverse lunges. So our lateral lunge is a lunge to the side. So I don't mean to the side, because that still would be a forward lunge. It's to the side, meaning your weight shifts to the side. So everything is pointing forward. My feet are pointing forward. I'm going to take a big step to my side. Feet are still pointing forward. And as I go to the side, my body is going to shift. So my hips are going to shift this way, and I'm going to sink my butt down, okay? So it's as if there's an imaginary pocket or seat back here, diagonal back, and I'm trying to sink my butt down in it, okay? So I'm left like this. This leg is bent, this leg is straight, all the weight is on this leg, there's no weight on this foot, and then I push off and return, okay? So big step, sink down, return, sink, return, okay? So if you are not sure of this sinking motion, you want to think about basically doing a squat. So when you see it from the side, I look like I'm in squat position, okay? You can't tell, you obviously can't see my straight leg, but it looks like I'm basically doing a squat, right? It doesn't look any different. So that's what it should look like. This leg should be fully bent. Your butt should be sinking diagonal back, okay? If you want to add a weight, you can hold it multiple ways. I found, after doing it a lot of different ways, I prefer to hold it in the opposite hand of the moving leg. So if I'm going to step out here, I'm going to hold it in the opposite hand, and I'm going to just let it kind of dangle as I slide down and sink into my pocket, okay? 2, 3, so you don't have to worry about trying to touch the ground or really doing anything with this. I just like to do it that way. You can hold it across the long way, keep the weight up by your chest. You can do however you want. You could hold 2 smaller weights in one hand, or you can do no weights at all, okay? So that is your lateral. Our straight leg fire hydrants. So this one is actually much harder than it looks, because anytime you're kicking out to the side, you're working the side of your leg, hip area, but that area is usually really tight on people. So you have your IT band that runs down there, which can be really tight. Even like your hip flexor is in the front. All of those areas can be really tight, and therefore it can actually be really difficult to lift out to the side. So you're gonna be on your hands and knees, and you're gonna put your leg out, okay? Or you might find that you can't go very high, and you're like, oh, what the heck? But that's very normal. And then you're just gonna try to kick up, 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 okay? So again, it's probably gonna be much harder than you think it is, because that's just a lot, on a lot of people, it's very tight. It's basically like this area is having to do the lifting. So it could be 2 things. It could be weak and tight, or it could just be tight. So you're gonna do that on both sides, 10 of each. Curtsy, squat, curtsy. So this is combining our curtsy lunge and our squat. So the curtsy is a different variation of like a reverse lunge. So when you reverse lunge and you normally step back into railroad and then go down, you're going to curtsy instead, which means you're going to step diagonal back, diagonal behind. So instead of stepping behind, you're going to step diagonal behind. Okay, so that is your curtsy lunge. Diagonal behind, sink down, 90-90, return. Diagonal back, 90-90, return. Diagonal back, 90-90, return. So that is your curtsy lunge. So we're going to do right curtsy. When we hit the middle, regular squat. Left side curtsy, 1. Curtsy, regular squat, curtsy, 2. Curtsy, regular squat, curtsy, 3. This one also sucks, so take your time, or if you need to do like 3, then take a break, then do 3 more, then take a break, whatever. But that one is also harder, and that one also hits, you know, I program these on purpose. So when you do your straight leg, you're hitting the outside of your legs, or outside of your butt, outside of your thigh. When you do your curtsy, same thing, you're hitting that outside spot. Bridge to crunch. Bridge, you're on your back, your knees are bent up, and you're going to lift your butt and hips up into the air. So squeeze and lift. This is your bridge. Return, and then you're going to hit a crunch, which normally would look like this. I find it's easier just to keep my hands to my sides because that's how they are for my bridge. So I just crunch up and I kind of tap the sides of my legs. Crunch. Bridge, crunch, 2. Bridge, crunch, 3. Bridge, crunch, 4. So when you crunch, you have to make sure your shoulders are coming off, okay? So your head and shoulders lift off the ground, that's your crunch. So sometimes I notice I kind of move, like I feel like every time I do my bridge and I do my crunch, I'm like half an inch farther from my feet. Then I do it again, so I feel like I end up getting a little bit stretched out. So if that happens to you, just move your feet in again so that your bridge is nice. You don't want to be trying to do a bridge way out there because you're barely going to get off the ground. So you want your feet closer to you so you can really lift your hips off the ground, okay? So that ends our week 1.